All right, so we're all here for a very important reason, and that is, I shouldn't say that, she is Emily Perkins. Emily made her film debut in 1989 with Small Sacrifices and hasn't really looked back since, with roles in Stephen King's It. I don't know how she's gonna feel about you, Pennywise. It's been 25 years, but feelings go deep, okay? So, you hope so. You are a monster. By the way, when you're walking through the vendors area, it's really creepy. Like with the balloons and everything. Anyway, Stephen King's It, X-Files, Dead Like Me, and of course, fan favorite, Supernatural. That's always a good one. And of course, her turn as Bridget in the cult hit Ginger Snaps returned critical praise and of course led to a full trilogy. So with that, please help me welcome Emily Perkins. Oh, God. I honestly thought you were Pennywise.
Hello, Pennywise.
Oh.
Great to see you again. How have you been?
Is it? Don't lie. Don't lie.
It's a little disconcerting, but...
All right, then. How's it going?
It's great.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm loving Halifax. People are really funny and cute and sound like Rick Mercer here.
It's really nice of you to say. I've never heard that about me before, but you're a sweetheart. I appreciate it. Honestly, though, is Pennywise making you uncomfortable? He just sits there.
He's laughing now, so that's good. Thumbs up, Pennywise.
In my experience, it's not good when Pennywise is laughing.
Yeah, it's something about the teeth. Like
Yeah.
the teeth are, yeah.
My mother-in-law's
You need to brush those. They look a little stained. He needs to get some of those like whitening strips or something.
Yeah.
Get the blood stains off there.
This is a Q&A. I'm
Any
thinking
questions?
we should get some questions asked. Where are the mics? There's one there and one there. Does anybody have any questions?
Yes.
Yes? Here, 1 second. I hope I don't fall. Okay.
Service with a smile. Hi, Emily.
Hello.
I'm Vicky, and I just wanted to say thank you for allowing us as super fangirls to live vicariously through you when you fake married Sam. That was great, although it scared the crap out of me. I was wondering, is there any chance that your character from Supernatural is gonna come back and stalk the other brother instead?
And what? She's going to come back and what?
Stalk Dean instead.
Oh, yeah, like she might switch teams.
She struck out with Sam, so there's two of them. You could try again.
Yeah. I like that idea. That's a great idea.
You
A whole
should
other
write the
adventure.
You should write the script for that.
Yes, please do. That sounds like fun. Yeah, I'd like that. I'd be game.
Just gonna use this. No, I was gonna use the stairs, but no, too old. So, if you had to choose in real life, I'm hard-hitting questions. Think of me as like Barbara Walters, or not, because that's weird.
Yeah, you've got the cheeks.
Just all flattery. This is fantastic.
If I had to choose between Jared and Jensen, I think Jared's like more of like the intellectual. Like he doesn't seem like it, but once you talk to him, like he's so well read and like I like a literate man. So and I don't know, I didn't talk to Jensen as much. So yeah, like but Jared's like very funny and like boyishly charming and kind of looks like Hercules. He's like, yeah.
Okay, I think we have a question.
Hi, I was just wondering if you could speak a bit about your experience working on the Ginger Snaps trilogy, because I watched it ages ago and I still watch it every now and then. I really enjoy it. I was just wondering if you could speak about that.
Sure, thanks. Yeah, it's definitely my favorite role that I've ever had, and I think because at the time it just felt like a very original character, and like I remember feeling like I was a women's studies student when I filmed the first one, and I was like so frustrated that there just weren't like a variety of roles for women, and whenever I would get like it would always be like teenage girls that I was reading for at the time, and they were always so like stereotypical, and I always felt like this is the same character I've seen a million times before, and it's not adding anything to representations of girls and women. So yeah, when Ginger Snaps came along, it was just so refreshing. Like the script was really interesting. I loved the feminist theme, and yeah, and so many interesting subtexts. So yeah, it was such an honor to get to create a character like that, or participate in creating a character like that. And like the writer and I, Karen Walton, we clicked right away, and she was like, "You were me when I was a teenager. I was exactly like you." And so it was just very like validating and affirming and kind of cathartic, because I kind of got to leave some like dark aspects of my personality behind through filming and through playing that character. And yeah, thanks. You're welcome. Thank you. Yes?
Hi. I was just wondering what you think Bridget's fate near the end of the second Ginger Snaps film. Like, how do you think they would proceed with her and the girl, how she trapped her in the basement and everything, to keep as their pet werewolf?
Well, I kind of like to think that Ghost kind of uses Bridget as like her tool for like seeking revenge on people who deserve to be like eaten by a werewolf, kind of thing. So I think that like Ghost would like I kind of like the idea that they're like these feminist heroes, and like they fight the forces of patriarchy. So like if there's some like boss who's like sexually harassing his employees, like Ghost would sick Bridget on him. And yeah, so I like to think that she once in a while would get out of that cellar and run wild.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's interesting. I don't know. Like I liked the. Sounds interesting. I mean, but at the same time, like I want Bridget to get revenge on Ghost for locking her down there. I don't know. Bite the hand that feeds, kind of.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if Ghost could have stopped the transformation, she would have. So I think they're still friends in the end. Yeah.
You go ahead.
Hi. Yes, I also love Ginger Snap, by the way, because of its boldness.
Could you speak up just a little bit?
I just said I really love Ginger Snap for its boldness, but
Thanks.
one thing I'd like to ask actors are, because we're here because we love what you do, obviously. So I'm always interested in what other passions you might have, like artistically, if anything, besides acting. Like
Oh,
things you do.
other passions.
Like artistically.
Yep. Well, I love to paint. I do that whenever I get a chance. Like I paint portraits and landscapes, and I'm really passionate about books. So I read. Like I don't watch a lot of television or film, but I read like all the time. And my favorite form is like short fiction. So I love George Saunders and like Alice Munro. She's fantastic. And like my favorite authors might be like Jonathan Franzen and David Foster Wallace and Peter Carey. I love Margaret Atwood. Just yeah, like I love books. So yep.
It's fantastic. I'm sure there's many people here who would share your love of reading. Fair number? One or two? No? Nobody here likes reading? Books suck. So, do you think you'd want to revisit the character of Bridget?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's any like intention of writing or anyone. No one's working on another Ginger Snaps sequel. So but yeah, it's like she is like kind of a character that I think about once in a while, because I think for me, like at the time, she kind of represented like the state of like teenage girls in there and having to confront like the objectification of the body and like the social construction of the female body as monstrous. And I often wonder like how much things have changed for girls, or if they still kind of feel that pressure, if they feel a little bit more liberated. I don't know. But yeah, it's something that like I definitely have to reflect on sometimes.
Well, and I mean, when I first saw the movie, I was 14.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that it was, I think more young men, young boys really, should have seen that movie. Maybe not too young. I have a 4-year-old that's not at home. I'm not going to like show him the movie tomorrow. But I think for me it was interesting to watch, and it made me a little uncomfortable. But I think that's, I mean, it says something about society that it made me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But it's good that it made me uncomfortable, I think.
Yeah,
because
I think it was intended to.
Yeah, and I think that it was nice that as such a young boy, it started me thinking about some of those issues that you're talking about. So
Yeah, it's
Is she-
nice to be part of a project that like has that, I don't know, has a little bit more of a message, especially like a horror movie, because sometimes they're just slasher movies and it's just about the scare and there's nothing else really going on beneath the surface. But I think that's changed a lot too. I think there's like horror movies are a lot smarter than they used to be, and like often there's the comic element too, which is
the good ones. Then there's
Yeah.
torture porn, basically.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
please.
Hi, I just wanted to say I really loved your character on Supernatural. She was pretty funny.
Thanks.
I was just wondering if, out of any of the ongoing TV shows on TV right now, which one would you most want to be a part of?
Let me think. Like, I don't watch a lot of TV, but I watch House of Cards. I love that show, and I like Game of Thrones. So either one of those, I'd be really delighted to be part of. Yeah.
Fantastic. Did you have a question?
She just took it right out of my head. Oh yeah, I'm just wondering what new things you're working on or what's coming up, whether it's in work or just in your life.
Well, I've gone back to school. I've gone into education. So yeah, I want to be a teacher. So I'm not really focusing on acting at all right now. But yeah, I love learning and I love being in school. So I'm very happy to be doing that.
What sort of teaching?
Well, I'm not sure yet. Like the degree that I'm doing, I can teach at any level, so I don't have to make a choice about that yet. But yeah.
Great, thank you.
Pardon? Grade 3. Oh, interesting. Yeah, you don't have to deal with the hormones. Yeah. That's a good tip. Thanks.
Gentleman in the sweater.
Hi, Emily.
Hello.
Who in your life, who has really helped most shaped you as an actress in your career?
In my
And
career.
what did they do for you to do that?
I guess, like, well, I've been inspired by lots of like actors that, if I think it's just like a really brave performance, or you know, and especially women who are like comic actresses or people who just aren't conforming to like mainstream notions of what women should be and what is attractive, like just women who don't, or actresses who don't court the male gaze as much. I find them really inspiring. And yeah, like in terms of like, I'm a very spiritual person, so for me, like acting is all about like I always like some actors, they talk about how their life experiences inform their performances, and for me it's kind of the other way around. Like I'm always thinking about how like acting and the process of acting informs my life, and like what kind of lessons I can take from it and enact in like my relationships and stuff, and the way I am and act in the world. So like spiritual influences, like I love studying religion. Like I'm a Unitarian Universalist, and I study all different kinds of religions, and I teach religious exploration, it's called, to kids. And so for me, like acting is really about connecting with people and communicating and trying to see things from other people's perspective. So for me, like activists are very inspiring, like people who are just really deliberate about their choices. And in acting, you have to be very conscious and deliberate about the choices that you make in terms of your dialogue and what message you're trying to convey. And and it's just about like trying to be compassionate and not judgmental, because you can't play a character that you judge. So but in terms of like people that I worked with, like John Fawcett, who directed Ginger Snaps, he was such a big influence on me, because I was very introverted. Like I've always been very introverted, and so it's really hard for me to like star in a movie and just sort of have the courage to be looked at and know that like my face is going to be on a big screen. That was like hard for me. So, and he was just so encouraging, and I just felt a really strong connection with him, and he's such a creative person, and always like validated me, like, because some directors, they don't really say anything after you're finished a scene, and you don't get any feedback. And like because I'm kind of shy, I kind of need someone to say something, or to make me feel like they got what they needed from my performance. And he always did that, and just made me feel like was really good at like sort of building me up.
Cool.
And so he'd be one of those people for sure.
And maybe just as a follow-up to that, has your experience in acting now contributed, it sounds like it has, contributed to where you are in your life now and wanting to change and shift into teaching?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I think like as an actor, like I've always been very like curious about the world and curious about other people, and like I said, like trying to see things from other people's point of view. And I think like as a teacher, like I really want to sort of kindle that passion for learning about the world in young people. Cool. And I think I've developed that ability to sort of see things from someone else's point of view. And as a teacher, you have to be able to do that, because you have to see what's missing for that person, and you have to be able to adapt to their communication style and their learning style. So and so I think like as an actor, you have to be very observant of other people and very accepting of them. So yeah, I hope that I can bring those skills to that job.
Well, I hope that you succeed as well in teaching as you have in acting.
Thank you.
Yes.
So this is kind of a silly question, just because you said that you want to be a teacher. Are you prepared for the potential fangirl, fanboy moments when they find out who their teacher is, or parents coming to be like, I think I saw you in, and things like that?
I don't know. Like I don't think it doesn't happen very often to me that I get recognized. Although, like in my history class, my history prof was like, "Is anybody doing anything interesting for Halloween?" I told them I was coming here, and then people said, "Oh my God, I thought that was you." And like somebody knew me from Supernatural, and somebody knew me in the class, and there was only like 12 people in the class, so it was kind of cool. I was like, wow, it always really surprises me when people remember that work. But yeah, I don't know. That's a good point. I don't know how I would respond if it were a student, but it might be kind of fun.
Okay, thank you.
How could
Thank
you
you.
give my son a B? I loved you in Ginger Snaps. I bought all 3 on Blu-ray and DVD and VHS. Over here, please.
Hi. I was just curious as to which version of Bridget, out of the entire Ginger Snaps trilogy, which version of Bridget did you prefer playing and why?
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. I don't know. The first one was good because she kind of comes into her own. She develops some like strength at the end of the film, whereas the second one has a very dark ending. And the third one, I'm not really sure what happened with the character in the third one. So, but yeah, I loved doing like all the special effects makeup on the second movie, like actually getting to, because acting's all about transformation. So, and it's like a potentially very magical kind of experience, and so like getting to like see yourself in the mirror like in this totally unrecognizable form is really neat. Yeah, but in terms of the character, I think the arc was probably the best in the first one.
Thank you.
Over here.
Hi there.
Hello.
Just out of curiosity, I was wondering if you could tell us a story where you were kind of being treated the way Becky treated Dean on Supernatural.
The way
Like,
she
were
treated
you ever, or sorry, Sam. But
Sam?
Yeah. Sorry.
So basically, have you had a super fan?
Yeah.
Have I ever had? I did like have a weird super fan once. Look, he was from Texas, of course. All crazy people are from. Sorry if anyone here is from Texas. Yeah, he like wrote some weird letters. The police were involved. It was strange. But other than that, all my interactions with fans have been awesome and super validating and good. So, fortunately, that was an aberration. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, you'd think that, like, did they think that what you were doing on Supernatural was okay?
It was pre-Supernatural.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Well, hi.
Hello.
This is actually kind of leads into my question. It was Supernatural. I loved Becky. I find sometimes fandom can take itself too serious, so I always love the fact that they kind of showed an example where it was like, you know, take yourself. It is silly, and I really liked that. Like they were a little over the top, and I laughed at that. I loved it.
Thanks.
Well, you're welcome. My question was, if they did write you back into Supernatural, we all know the lifespan of characters on Supernatural at times.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, if you did get killed off, how would you want to go on the show?
From the red shirt, this is asked, I see.
The zombie red shirt.
That's, I don't know. Oh, that's a really good question. I think it would be cool to be, just because of like the metaphorical value, to be like eaten. Would be good. That'd be a good death. To be actually like consumed by another character, because then she could potentially come back to life as like its spirit form or something. Like the spirit of Becky could just
yes.
That would be like very comic, actually. The spirit
Hunting
of Becky would take over someone.
Hunting Sam, come back.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Interesting question. I have to think about that.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yes, I was wondering if you actually watched the shows you were in. Like, do you watch yourself in the show?
I try not to. I've been forced to a couple times at like film festivals and stuff, but other than that, I don't. Because I would never have the courage to be in front of a camera if I didn't tell myself that I never have to watch the final product. Because for me, it's like not about the product at all. It's really about like the process of making. Like I love the collaborative nature of film and television making, and yeah, I think it's weird because it's so different than the final product. Like all you see is like the actors. You don't see all the other people that were involved in making the film. And like I really like the thing that I really don't like about the film industry is how hierarchical it is. But like in some ways, like the actors like in some ways are kind of at the bottom of the hierarchy because like they're the only people that can't be late, and like they're the ones that are always like the women are always like starving themselves and always like super self-critical, and like they have the least freedom on set because they have to, like, they can't choose how they look, they can't, like, you're all, like, every aspect of your day is micromanaged because people are like, when you go to the bathroom, everybody knows where you are, and like you have no privacy. It's really interesting. Okay, wait, this is a total like tangent. What was I going back to? I turned into a rant against the film industry. But no, the hierarchical nature of it. What was your question again?
Like, like I was in a TV show, a prime reenactment, and everybody's asking me if I've watched it.
Yeah.
And I won't, because I'm my own worst critic.
Yeah.
Do you find that you're like that too?
Yes. Oh, totally. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I try not to be too self-critical, but like that is what it, like for me, I don't really see it as like like from an artistic point of view. It's not about the final product really at all. Although it's really nice to have like feedback from people, and they say that they really liked the character, that it had some kind of impact on them. Like that's really nice to hear, because it is really about, it is a form of communication. And as an actor, you're trying to connect with people. So, and so for me, like I try, it's an image-based medium, so that's why it's uncomfortable. It's hard to watch yourself. It's hard for a lot of people to even like hear their voice when they record their voice for their answering machine or something. It's hard to hear their voice. So like, it's hard to look at yourself.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Oh, we have a question over here.
Out of all the characters you played, which one is the most inspirational to you?
The most inspirational? I'm trying to answer this in a way that's good for kids. Okay, so there was one role that I did when I was a kid, and nobody's seen this movie before. Well, I guess a few people have, but it was like a TV movie, and I played Matt LeBlanc from Friends, his little sister. We played siblings on the show, and it was a shipwreck movie, and that was like very inspirational as a kid, because it was based on a true story of a family that was shipwrecked, and they had to like survive in Alaska with nothing, like no food, and so it was like a survival story, and it was all about like the family relationships, and so like as a kid, that was like it gave me that courage to sort of think, well, if my character could survive this terrible situation, then I can do anything. Like I don't have to be afraid in life, and I can confront whatever obstacles I meet. So yeah, that was a really inspiring one.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I was just going to mention, watching yourself on camera is the absolute worst thing ever. Like for me, I don't know how anybody can like watch dailies of themselves and things like that in movies and TV shows. I mean,
I always wonder, are they really vain or really humble? I'm not sure. It's one or the other, but it's not normal to be able to look at yourself like that.
if I were to watch myself like being recorded daily, I think it would just constantly beat my self-esteem down.
Yeah.
Because why did you say it like that? Oh, why did you do that? So,
yeah. You have to have a certain kind of distance from yourself, I think.
Can you talk, I find it really, really interesting, the relationship that sci-fi and horror genre have with their audience. It doesn't seem to exist in other genres. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, I think like horror, for sure. I don't know so much about sci-fi, but I guess horror and fantasy. Or horror is really about what threatens society. So it's about what threatens the mainstream power relationships. Like there's often like a subtext about like now it's like environmentalism and consumerism, or like it can be about like class hierarchies, like with vampires are about that, or and like zombies are about consumerism, and or it can be, you know, body horror. It's about like sexuality threatening society. It's all about things that we need to control, but that we're not quite able to ever control perfectly. So there are always like these gaps, and I don't know. I think it's something that's subconscious being brought into consciousness through art, through these artistic representations. And so I don't know. I always noticed that like fans of horror and sci-fi, they tend to be like really smart people, like and people who like have a lot of like curiosity, and who aren't like content to sort of dwell on the surface of life, and a lot of like creative type people. So yeah, I think it's just because it has those, like its nature has like a lot of layers. So yeah, I think maybe that's why people are such fans. And also, I think like what I've found with Supernatural fans is like when I've gone online and read the fan fiction and seen like people's creations, like people make these amazing centerpieces and costumes and stuff for the conventions. It's such a creative outlet for people, and it's really brings people together, and like oftentimes people who like might feel in some way marginalized. Like I've always been really shy and kind of felt like I was kind of on the margins of not the margins of society really, because I've always been able to function in society, but like just, you know, I guess we all have some aspect of this doesn't really fit in. And so like fandom is a way of connecting with people in a really positive way, in a way that gives us an opportunity to be creative and express like our artistic soul. So yeah, I guess that's kind of how I link the genre to the nature of the fandom. Thanks.
Do you can you feel that on those sets?
Can I feel it?
Like well, that you kind of have that relationship with the people that are going to be watching what you're doing. Or
sometimes, I mean, like there's a, like I think some people, like the people who are, yeah, I mean, I guess when I've been working, I should focus more on like people who would be fans versus the people who would be like judging, but it's hard because like I remember when like Ginger Snaps came out, like I was too dumb to realize I shouldn't be reading what people wrote online about it, and so then I read like really mean things, and like I felt like my feelings were really hurt and stuff. But now I don't know. Now I think it's awesome to have any kind of controversy. Like a lot of people didn't like Becky, and I really liked that because I got to have like lots of interesting conversations about it. Like people would ask me about like, what do you think about the fact that she wasn't received very well by a lot of people, and I was like, well, that's great because it's nice to play a character that can be read in multiple ways, and I also have kind of realized that it's not any one actor's responsibility or any one creative person's responsibility to represent all of women or all of humanity. Like it's all about diversity and diverse representations, and I thought that she was a pretty original character, so it's good to get people talking and having a conversation about sexuality, for example, or like fan enthusiasms and whether it's acceptable or not. Because in some way, I think some people were offended by like the hyperbolic nature of Becky's sexuality, and yeah, that she dared to express it when she's, you know, she's not like, she doesn't conform to standard ideas of beauty.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I mean, I can't really say that she was a healthy person. I mean, it is kind of weird, the fact that we all love the character, or at least many of us here love the character, but at the same time, if we knew someone like that, they may not be allowed into Hal-Con.
She was under the influence of a demon, though, when she drugged Sam. I don't think she would have done it otherwise.
So if
I think she's a good person.
if I get kicked out, is that like a reasonable thing that I can? I was under the influence of a demon.
In the show, though, demons
Oh.
are real, not just your personal demons going on there in your head.
Okay. Personal demons. No, okay. That's fair.
Are you a super fan of anything?
Well, definitely like the authors that I've met, like that I would like to meet. If I met them, I don't know if I would be able to speak. Yeah, I don't know if I'm not really a super fan of like anybody on TV or movies or anything, because I don't know, because I work in the industry, so I sort of see through it through the facade. And I always think, oh, I bet that person has a huge ego. Like, I'm kind of cynical. but like authors for sure, yeah.
Have you ever thought about rewriting or redirecting the direction a character ever took? Maybe after you've gone through the lines, after seeing the results, have you ever thought, this could have been done better? And wanted to kind of put your own spin on things?
In a particular?
Well, not anything particular, but I mean, obviously you've done lots of roles, and you're well read, obviously. So obviously you've read some better stuff, I would hope, that's been on TV. And you thought, okay, I could write this better. This is juvenile bad dialogue, because there is lots of it out there.
I don't know. Like well, I definitely have had like the urge to write, because I love writing, and so I'm gonna take creative writing next year, or next term.
Do it.
So I do, but like within like any particular role, like I don't know. I never have really seen it as my creation. Like I always see characters as a creation of. Like the writer and the director and the producers, like because they're the ones who have the control, and they're the ones who see the whole picture. And I, like as an actor, I just see things from my narrow little perspective. So then there's a lot of like trust involved. You just have to trust that the whole vision's gonna come together. So I try not to feel too controlling over it. I just try to like let go and let it be a collaborative process. Yeah.
Cool. Where would you take your writing, your creative writing, should you go for this class? Where would you want to go? What sort of genre would you take on?
Where would I want to?
What sort of writing would you take on? Would you just do novels? Would you go into film? Would you write scripts?
I don't know. I have plans for I like to draw too, so I really want to write a graphic novel. I have a sketchbook full of drawings and like a whole story. So that's what I really want to do. That's like my pet project. Yeah.
You could bring it back with you next time.
Cool. That'd be fun.
That'd be fantastic.
I'd love to.
That would be awesome.
Unfortunately, we are out of time. I'm going to be the bad guy here.
Okay.
So
cool.
you send all of your hate mail to me. Alex, why did you stop it? But I want to thank you, and can we all thank Emily?
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Thanks. Thanks, Alex.
Thank you.
Hal-Con.